Welcome! I'm Sue.
And I'm Julia.
And this is Sticks and Stones Podcast. Today on episode 43, let's catch up with the girls and see what they've been doing at the beginning of summer. Also, we're going to learn multi-strand braiding today. Come back and join us.
Hello. Hi. It is summer. The kids are out of school.
Yay!
And I'm already sick.
Aww.
Not of them, not of summer, but the strep throat hit me.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Yuck.
But I'm better.
Good.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to see me. Like
Yes,
last time we
yes.
had a podcast, I was like, oh, I was so sick. And this time I'm,
So basically what we need to do is after you get sick, we just know that it's time to...
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you're getting ill, because it's been so long.
I miss him so much. It makes me so sick. No, truly it's been a good spring, and summer's going to be fun and busy, I'm sure.
Always, always, always.
You guys, I don't think I actually announced it officially on the podcast, but there was rumor amongst the various threads and boards and stuff that my family was going to be moving this summer. And it was was this the demise of the podcast? What's going to happen? And I think that was part of the spring. I sat there going, well, what do we do? But now we're not moving, so things changed in the job world, and so everything is nice and status quo, and so that means summer for us anyway, for my family, will be really low key because we didn't plan much.
That'll be fun though.
Yeah, we thought we'd be packing a house and heading off.
Now you can stop packing house and stop cleaning and say, we're just going to keep it the way it is.
I know, it's going to be just fine the way it is. Well, now, of course, my husband's redoing his office because he has a new job, and he's still working from home, but he wants to change things around a little bit and de-stress, so there's all kinds of chaos going on with that. But it's much smaller chaos than it could have been.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And do you have any big plans this summer?
The usual, traveling, heading up north, Vermont, New Hampshire.
And we've been
my big thing is we're hopefully going to go on a field trip to King Arthur Flower.
Oh, cool.
I'm so excited about that.
That's Vermont, right?
They're located in Vermont, but it's about an hour from where I'm going to be in New Hampshire. So we decided we're going, go to the store and look at all the fun baking gadgets.
That would be fun. I've never thought of that.
Yeah, they have a cafe there. You can watch them bake. And they have all kinds of classes. I was checking out the classes the other day.
I would love that.
Yeah, they have kids classes. All their kids classes were full.
Wow.
They have home baker classes, and then they have professional classes. So I was looking at the professional ones because I was just curious, like what kind of class do you take if you're a professional? Yeah. And it was like all about baguettes, and it was using all these words I'd never heard before. And I was like, oh, I just thought you just mix up some yeast and flour and throw it in the oven. And really though, what's the difference between a baguette and ciabatta, and how does that happen?
Something inside.
That's what they do, is they know all of that, and they teach other people about it.
So I expect some delicious treats next time as well.
Exactly. Because I'm going to learn so much watching other people through a window. I'm not going to be taking class, I don't think. We're just going to go sample and see what's there. And so that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, our family's not doing a lot of traveling except like reunion type stuff, but I'm going to the Zombie Apocalypse next week. Yay. So that'll be cool.
Zombie apocalypse. Do you guys put makeup on like zombies?
No, actually the first year we were there, apparently one of the hotel employees who was setting up the signs was very, very excited because he totally thought a bunch of zombies were coming, but it was just knitters, and I think we kind of burst his bubble a little bit.
Now he's like, oh, it's the knitters coming again.
Yeah, just those people. But it'll be fun. It'll be nice to get away. It'll be, like-minded folks. So I'll probably see some of you there.
Fun.
Yeah. So.
Good time. What have you been working on?
Little bits, because I've been getting ready a lot for the retreat. Just trying to get some samples done. So I did make a new one of these guys. This is my favorite.
Oh
this
my god, he's so funny. He looks like E.T.
It's the Zombie Knitster.
Oh my gosh.
He's always a little top heavy. His poor little head never quite stands up like I...
You need a wire in there.
There is a wire in there.
Really?
Yes.
You need a
There,
thicker wire
see?
in there.
You have to just kind of balance it. It's proportional. But, so this one is mine. I've given away the last two, and I'm keeping this one. I just think that they are hysterical. And
I like the little knitting needles that he's holding.
his face. So this one will be with me. This is the zombie. And this is a pattern that's for sale.
Do you have a matching shawl to wear?
I do not. But its shawl matches its socks.
Nice. I was thinking that this one here almost matched.
It does actually, kind of. It is similar in color, but yeah.
But not exactly. But I think you should wear it. It's very similar.
That would be okay. I wasn't going to bring that because it's so thick. And
At least one day.
Yeah, we can go around. Me and my zombie.
You could have it sitting on your shoulder.
Can you see us? This
Yes.
will be us. Me and the zombie, and I'll just
That's how
lie
you'll
on the
know
table.
it's Julia.
I'll be like, no. But this is a pattern that I did, so it's for sale. If you guys want your own zombie, you can get it.
He's funny.
So yeah, so that's why I made that, and then I made this for the knit along. This is actually a pattern by one of the organizers, Megan Williams, and hers is done in one color. But I've really been trying to break out of solids and colorettes and using the yarn I've got, which I guess is working because these were three that I never ever would have thought went together, and they do.
So you just started putting them together even though you didn't think they would?
Yeah.
Just
Because, I'm like that. Throw caution to the wind. Yeah, it's just knitting, right? You can always take it out.
That's right.
But this is this is by the man who used to do Koigu. He no longer does. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he does some really beautiful variegated colors. And this is left over from my purple sweater that I did earlier in the year. And this, I don't even know what this one is. It was like one of those oddball sales that it was super cheap. So
So you couldn't say no.
Yeah,
Conditioned.
that's
so
true.
the zombie will be properly air conditioned, and so will you.
There'll be no decomposition going on.
That's good because that's smelly.
Yeah, yeah. And then since we've been home, it's been like crafting paradise at my house. I don't know what you guys have been doing with your spare time, but my kids decided they were going to make little stuffies.
Oh, fun!
So the oldest daughter made these for some friends.
Oh, cute! She knit them herself.
Yeah, a little cat and a lion.
Fun.
So crafting haven.
Yay!
Yeah.
We haven't gotten there yet. We're still like running around visiting people.
Yeah, well, they apparently think that it's been at least a week, if not more, that they've been off of school. So
it feels like that. Yeah. It feels like that.
Yeah, Monday we were at the grocery store, and I said to the girl at the checkout counter, I'm like, my kids have lost their brains already. They've been out of school 2 days, and they're all looking at me like, no, we've been out of school much longer than that.
That's funny.
Yeah, they couldn't believe it.
That's funny. So. Nice.
Yeah, so that's all I've got for now. That's
Yeah, I haven't really been working on anything but, finishing up school projects, finishing up coaching, end of school activities, all that, and getting ready for camps. So, but we are going to learn some braiding today. But before we do that.
Oh yes, this was another exciting thing that came to my door. Not another, but a exciting thing. I actually contacted this girl, her name is Robin. And I saw her yarn on another podcast, and she also dyes fiber, and I thought, you know what, there's not many people out there who review fiber. So I contacted her just to see if she would be interested in us doing something like that. And she said yes, and she sent me a braid of fiber to spin up, and then also another braid, another braid for you guys.
Awesome.
So this is by October House. And she also set a little set of stitch markers here in the back. And I just think it's beautiful. It's merino and silk. And the colors are gorgeous. She has so many things on her Etsy shop. And everything is October. Just the feeling of fall. Which right now, as it's getting hotter, I kind of wish a little bit for fall. So I have started to spin mine. And it's spinning like an absolute dream. It's so thin and it's so pretty, and I'll have more details on how it goes for our next podcast. But I'm really excited to be able to share this with everybody, and hopefully some of you spinners out there couldn't get to try it too. This is the Acadia colorway. And it's just really pretty.
So we're going to give that away.
We are. Yep, this is for you guys.
And how do we enter that? How do I enter it so I can get it? Oh, wait.
You
employees
and
employees of the podcast and their families may not enter.
Yeah, the fine print. I can open a thread on the Ravelry forums on October House, and I could. How about a question? How would you spin this fiber? Because there's lots of different ways to spin it.
Or maybe what would you do with it? Because I wouldn't spin it.
That's true. How would you spin it?
I would be felting it.
Yeah, I'm doing mine in a traditional 3-ply, chunking it in thirds. So that's my style of trying this fiber. But we'd be curious to see what you guys would do with the fiber. And then we'll do a drawing at the next podcast.
It's such beautiful colors.
Mm-hmm. And I really love her logo. I think that little acorn is so cute.
Yes, it is. It's so cute.
Yeah.
So
we'll braid.
We'll braid.
I'm curious to see how this works. I've always wanted to do multi-strand braiding, and I just don't know how to do it.
So we're going to start with 3. We're going to go to 5, and then we're going to go to 4.
Okay.
Because we're crazy like that. Stay with us. Today we're going to learn multi-strand braiding. We're going to do a 3, 4, and 5-strand braid. All of them are flat braids rather than round braids. And we're going to learn how to make each of these with this thick rope, and then you can apply it to a lot of different materials. Okay. So today we're going to start with the 3-strand braid. This is the most basic braid. A lot of people learn it when they're young. This is what you do when you braid your hair. But I'm surprised at how many people don't know a 3-strand braid. And if you understand this one, it helps you to understand other types of braids. This is the basis. Learning to braid is all about is just saying a mantra over and over. For a lot of people, it's a pattern, like 3/2, 1/2. Or always into the middle, which is the way I always thought of the 3-strand braid. I will go through both of those, and you can use whichever one works for you. But the 3-strand braid is pretty simple. You have 1, 2, 3 strands. You also have 1, 2, 3 positions. So the numbers here apply to the position of the ropes, not the rope themselves. So when you move this one from here to here, that doesn't say rope 3, now it's rope number 2. Okay? So think of these numbers as positions, not as ropes. If you number the ropes, you will get very, very confused. So as I said, the pattern here for a 3-strand braid is very simple. 3/2, 1/2, and you just keep repeating. So basically you take the 3rd strand and you put it over the 2nd strand. You take the 1st strand and you put it over the 2nd strand. I'm exaggerating this and putting them all into their positions so that you can watch it. But you don't have to do that. So 3/2, 1/2. And you can see that this is a very loose braid. 3/2, 1/2. When I was a child and I was learning this, I learned it as I always thought of bring the right into the middle, bring the left into the middle. Bring the right into the middle, bring the left into the middle. However works for you. Is how you should learn to do this braid. 3/2, 1/2. Now, as I said, you can see this braid is very loose, and we'll talk a little bit about tension a little bit later. But basically, to get a tighter braid, if we were going to take this out and redo it, to get a tighter braid, you can do a couple things. Sometimes people pull it up like this, so that way you can keep your ropes in their positions. So you can go 1/2, 3/2, and pull it up, and then it gets tighter. 1/2, pull it up. 3/2, 1/2. If you ever get confused, where am I? Which one should I be doing next? Which one should I be doing next? Well, this one is on top. You just brought 1/2. Whatever one is on the bottom, you're bringing that one over. Okay? So now again, I'm confused. What did I just do? Where am I at? I just brought 3/2, so now I need to bring 1/2. Again, you can pull it tight. But once you get to a certain point, I can't make this part up here tighter unless I really work it. What I like to do when I braid is I actually braid with my hands really close, like this, and then you can get a nice tight braid. It keeps everything where it should be, and you get that nice tight braid. But when you're first learning, it's okay if your braids are loose. And also, you get different looks from having a loose braid compared to a tight braid. You may want a looser braid depending on what your application is.
Okay.
Alright, now we are going to the 5-strand braid. And the reason we're skipping over the 4-strand braid is it's actually much easier to do odd-numbered braids than even-numbered braids. The 5-strand braid is also called a fishtail braid. Right now, fishtail braids are really popular. If you look on Pinterest, girls are wearing a lot of their hair in fishtail braids. And when you do a fishtail braid with your hair, you can do it with 2 strands. But when we're doing it with something that like this, we're going to use 5 strands instead. Basically, with this particular braid, once you make it, you can use any number of odd strands. What will happen is the braid will be wider, but it will look exactly the same. Okay, so again, I have my pattern over here, 5/3 and 1/3. This is incredibly simple, and it's really exactly like the 3-strand braid. There's just some extra ones in between. Again, the thing to remember is that these numbers are for the positions, not the individual ropes. Okay, and again, you just do 5/3 and 1/3. So I'm going to take 5 and go over number 3, and now I'm going to take 1 and go to over number 3. Reposition these if you feel you need to. 5 over number 3 and 1 over number 3. And when we tighten this up here, you'll see that we're getting that fishtail look. This is definitely one that you want to keep a little bit tighter because that's what makes it give it that fishtail look, is that it's a real tight braid. So 5/3 and 1/3. Tighten it up. Put your braids back in their positions, your strands. 5/3 and 1/3. Again, when I was a child and I was taught just to bring it in the middle, that's a really simple thing for me on this one. You're bringing the right side to the middle. You're bringing the left side to the middle. You're bringing the right side to the middle. You're bringing the left side to the middle. Okay? So again, I'm confused. I stopped. I don't know where I am. How do I fix it? What braid is next? With this one, it's really easy. There's 2 on one side, there's 3 on the other. You're always taking the side with the 3, you're grabbing the outside strand, you're bringing it to the middle. Up, now we're on the left side because there's 3 on the left and there's 2 on the right. So you grab that outside strand and bring it to the middle. As I mentioned, you can do this with any number of strands. So if you did it with 7, it would be this thick. If you did it with like 21, it would probably be about that thick with this particular rope. Again, depending on the thickness of the rope or the string or the ribbon that you're using, you're going to get a different look, but you're still going to have this real nice, beautiful braid here.
Good to go.
Now we're going to work on the 4-strand braid, and this one's a little bit different than the 3 and the 5. With all of these braids, you're always bringing the strings into the middle, so that's consistent. But the patterning here is a little bit different, and this one you do have to memorize it in order to be able to do it. So what you're doing is, again, the numbers are for the positions, not the actual strings, and you just start with number 4 and you take it over number 2. And you can reposition these. This one you might want to do that to keep consistent here. And then you take 1/3. Now we're going to move these all over again. And now you take 2/3. And this braid, actually, I learned to do it by watching a video about how to make challah bread, which is a braided bread. And they do a 5-strand braid with that. They do a 4-strand braid. So you take 4/2, 1/3. Tighten it up a little bit. And now 2/3. 4/2, 2, 1 over 3, and then 2 over 3. So again, this one you want to make nice and tight. And actually what you'll notice is when I showed you this braid right here, I had it flat this way. It's actually braiding on its side. And so the flat side is on this side and the rounded part is on this side. So it's sort of interesting. So when I do this braid, I would do it 4 over 2, 1 over 3, 2 over 3. 4 over 2, 1 over 3, 2 over 3. And then you get a nice tight braid. 4 over 2, 1 over 3, 2 over 3. 4 over 2, 1 over 3, 2 over 3. And you can see it's getting nice and round on this side and nice and flat on this side. I mean, there are other ways to think about this without the numbers, but I find it a little more complicated. You're taking outside and putting it between the first 2 strands. You're taking the outside, putting it between the first two strands, and then twisting the middle. That's, I think, a little bit more complicated. But some people can't think in terms of numbers. They think more in terms of patterns. So, however it works for you. Now, you'll notice when I've been doing these braids that I always start working from the right. And I think that's partially because I'm right-handed. You could also start all of these braids from the left. It's really about maintaining the pattern. So if you start from the left, then you go from the right. Then you start from the left and you go from the right. And that's perfectly fine, as long as you keep doing it. This braid, too, tends to twist. You can make it flat just by pulling it and making it flatter. All right, so where was I? 4 over 2, 1 over 3, and twist in the middle. This is the one that I would not stop in the middle of it because this one's harder to figure out where you were than the 3 and the 5. So just keep working it until you're done. With any of these braids, if you need to stop, especially if you have a material that unravels easily, when I'm doing these with horsehair, if I let it go, it will unravel. With this rope, you can leave it like this. But what you can do is if you do have to stop because, your kids are yelling and you need to get to them immediately, what I do is I just keep everything in its position and just tape it down to wherever you are. Make sure you've stopped at the end of the pattern, and that way when you start again, you can just pull the tape up and keep going.
Sure, you can leave it. Because it's just like 3.
It's just
like 3, only you're doing 5.
Yes.
So you go outer to inner.
Pretty much so. Right,
Okay.
Exactly. You don't have to think of numbers. You do outer to inner. So, Julia is actually braiding on a clipboard. So that's one way to, when I braid, because I've done it so long, I don't need anything. I don't remember where I'm at in this braid. Let's see if I can wing it. But I can do it without having it attached to anything, like this. The one thing about that is if you don't have the right amount of tension, it will get wonky, which means it'll kind of go around. I think of it as going around the corner. You can see that this isn't completely straight. It kind of goes out here, and then it goes out here. You can stretch it out depending on what kind of material you are, or you just have to, every once in a while when you're braiding it, stop and stretch it out.
Okay.
But if you're not, if you're not that advanced and you can't do that yet, you can, what I had done during our podcast is I taped it to the table. The problem with that is sometimes it starts to pull out if you're trying to get a lot of tension on it. You can use a macrame board, which a macrame board is just a board with a grid on it, and people used to use it for macrame, and you would pin different things to create different things. So you can pin it on a macrame board, or the easiest thing is a clipboard because you get a lot of tension with the clip.
Yeah, you do. This is really nice and tight here. I vaguely remember as a kid making friendship bracelets, but they weren't braided. I don't know what I did
Those
with
are
them.
A half hitch.
Okay, but I would pin them to my pants.
Yes, we used to tape them to our knees.
Yeah. Yeah, use a safety pin and just pin them to my jeans and then braid them that way, or whatever I did with them.
The friendship bracelet is what's called a half hitch. You make that 4 and bring it through and pull it up.
Right.
That's a half hitch.
Okay.
And so
Right,
that's a different kind of braid. I mean, there's lots of braids out there. You can go to the library and get books on braids, even braiding your hair.
Mm-hmm.
You can use those braids with different types of materials. I used rope so that we could see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with this 4-strand braid, you've got this really pretty thing that on this one side, but a different look on the back.
Yeah, I thought that looked like 2 strands of cables twisted next to each other, but they're attached, so they're right there. Like that would be a really neat applique edge on a shawl or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tempted to try it, like you said, with the 21. If I did it with yarn, it'd be a lot thinner, but it would still, you'd be able to see that braid then really well.
Right. And I mean, any of these too, you know, if you have the right size, you could put beads on it and slide beads up as you're going. As long as usually what I do is I put a whole bunch of beads on it and tape the bottom, and then as I use it, I slide it up.
Okay.
So, you know, and you can, like I said, you can use rope, you can use embroidery floss, which is what we used to make friendship bracelets out of. You can use ribbon. With the ribbon, depending on how thick it is, you have to be a little more careful. Like if you want it real nice and flat, you need to really think about how you bring the strands over and not just do it quickly, because it won't look as nice.
Okay.
With something round, you don't have to worry about that. But with something flat, if you want it to lay flat and not be twisted, you need to think that through and go real slow.
Can you do like an 8-strand braid?
You can do any number of strands. If you can you take this pattern and do it with 8 strands? That's a good question. I'd have to try it. If you just look up on the internet, braids, there are millions of braids out there. And then there's classic ones, like people who do, there's Celtic ones, you know, or Celtic. People do those type of braids. When you have all the different knots, there's ones that are medieval that people used for different sorts of braiding things together. Like if you were making a nice sheath and you were doing a decorative braid along the side or something like that. There are tons and tons. These are just as basic as you can get. And if you just search for it, you can find all kinds of things. And really, you could create your own. As long as you keep doing the same pattern over and over, it'll work.
Well, these are really beautiful. Though.
Yeah, and some of them, like the fishtail one, that one you can expand it into anything as long as you use an odd number.
Okay.
You can't do a braid like that with an even number. It just doesn't work.
I see. Huh.
I don't know why. It's, you know, it's math.
Right.
Anybody who's a mathematician probably knows right now why that is. I'm not a mathematician.
There's no center, really, when you're like, there's no center strand when you're doing evens.
Right, exactly. There's nothing to go kind of over.
Yeah.
Yes, my daughter's been doing the fishtail braid, and so when you do the fishtail braid, you pull some hair, and that's how they braid the hair for horses when they do them in shows, is you pull from behind, and it's really only 2 strands. You just bring it over to the other side, you pull from behind and bring it over to the other side, and you just keep doing that till you get to the end. And what you're doing with that 2-strand, it's almost like a 3-strand braid because you're braiding around the core of your hair.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I did it.
It looks beautiful. All of these using this rope reminds me of, do you remember those Turkish knot bracelets they used to have in the 80s that you would wear?
That would be kind of neat, though, actually, a rope bracelet. I've seen some of these things online that
I think they're coming back.
Yeah. Just have to find a way to clasp it because they're so thick.
And then, you know, you wear it till it gets so disgusting and falls off. Remember those days too?
When you tie it so tight you can't take it off.
Right. Yeah. Because there's no other way with the embroidery floss. There was no other way to close it.
Yeah.
You just tied it and you wore it till it fell off.
Yeah.
These are the good old days of summer.
The germs you carried around on your wrist.
Right. Exactly. Because there weren't things like
Purell.
Job interviews and like, you know, fancy dinners where you couldn't wear your manky bracelet.
I don't go to fancy dinners now. Maybe I should wear a couple of these and I'll get invited.
No, you won't get invited.
That was fun though. That was really neat to do that. I'd be, you know, I wonder if you could put like charms or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Loop them through. That'd be kind of cool.
All kinds of things on there.
And it's the same on both sides.
That one is, yes.
It's reversible.
The fishtail is.
Cool.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
Oh.
Surprise! Neat.
Yeah, it would be a neat border for anything. Oh, I wanted to show one other braiding application. This is actually a rug that I got from my husband's grandparents' house.
Ooh.
And I'm sure that it is a rag rug because it's all different colors. And so during the Depression and such, people would take their old clothes that were just too worn to wear and they would cut them in strips and make them into rugs. But what's neat about this rug, most rugs you do a braid, you do a 3-strand braid, and then you use a curved needle and carpet thread and you sew it together. This rug is not sewn at all. It's completely braided.
Wow.
And I looked it up and I started, this was a long time ago, I started making one with wool strips. And basically it's this, you're doing a 3-strand braid, but when you do the one side, rather than just braiding it, you bring it through the previous row of braiding, and then you don't have to use any thread for it to stay together.
We have a similar thing you can do in knitting when you add an edge to something that you can just pick up and knit two together so that it brings those two edges together like that. That's really neat.
Yeah.
And it's seamless looking then.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
It is seamless.
You should finish it.
Maybe. I'll put it in my long list of things to do this summer. I would love to finish it. I forgot. I have to look up again how to do it because I seem to have 4 strands here, but I thought it was only 3. But I may have added one because when they get too short, you have to add more. But anyway, it's just a neat and very different application of braiding.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys have done any braiding and you would like to show it off, we'd love to see pictures as always. And I've got some cool ideas now. I've got some stuff in my head.
Ooh, here we go.
You never know.
Next time we should come back. Maybe next time we should have worn our hair in braids like they do in Lord of the Rings. Like all those complicated, crazy braids.
I know it. The Game
look
of
like
Thrones.
elves.
They're just so beautiful.
But then again, are those just like really wigs that they wear that they don't actually braid their hair?
Probably. But they're still beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. They're the art of braiding. I mean, my kids all cut their hair off. The girls both cut their hair off last year, and they're really like chin length. And I just thought they're going, I can't braid it all. But maybe now this summer they'll let me do a little bit now that I know how.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
So.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's always fun to catch up with you guys and check the threads for exciting things, and hopefully I'll see some of y'all next week.
That's right, and maybe somebody will be winning that fiber.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Have a wonderful summer.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.